Good afternoon, everyone. So much moisture in the atmosphere. We'll take a look at it. Got rainouts across the UK, wiping out crops. Deserts getting wet. Solar panel fields just getting smashed to bits through the hail. And also the BRICS are now trading food shipments amongst each other. More crop losses on the way? Well, let's take a look at it. And wanted to start you off here with rainbow clouds, as they're called. Seen occasionally, but it does seem the size of them is larger than they used to be. Just the width and the breadth of the clouds. Speaking of clouds, Sudan flood report. Million people hit by flooding South Sudan. Now remember, this was in the 1980s, one of the driest places. Remember Sally Struthers asking, help the people at that time because of massive drought. But it is near a drainage basin of a previous mega lake. So as we look at total column precipitable water, how much water's in the atmosphere, 2024. Now, this is the thing. I thought after the Hunga Tonga eruption, this would have peaked off and then been dropping out, but it's not. It appears that there's even more water holding added to evaporation. And how long will this be before it rains out totally? That red line would be a Hunga Tonga line. That orange line, 2023 also. Those two lines are the water that came out of the volcanic eruption in the Middle Ocean right next to Tonga. Easily discernible. And you should take a look at some of the properties of water vapor if you're looking into crops, because the world's now looking at Africa and the Sahel to start new grow zones as some of our traditional grow belts decrease in yield significantly, but they need power first. It's coming off the new Renaissance Dam. Uganda, South Sudan, they're going to connect up to a series of 6 cascading dams coming out of the Ethiopian highlands. This is going to be for a new agricultural processing zone as well as industrial zone. East Africa bringing crude pipeline. Multiple nations. Where does it end up? Tanzania going outbound on the port, Tanga port. But see, it all needs financing, and the West blew all these projects off. But who's there? Well, the new BRICS nations to fund it all with their new development system. And to add into why would we move crop growing zones, food shortages and wars expected as the world warms. Paragraph 2, crop yields could fall by 30% by 2050 because of trebling in land affected by severe drought. And then paragraph 3, it says 50% chance of 2 or more of the top flour corn producing countries, Argentina, Brazil, China, the US, Canada, all up in there. And they give you that they're going to lose at least 10% by the 2040s. Right there you go. And they weave you through some other details in there. Stop the frame and take a look. So this is already known that those areas are going to continue to decrease in yields all the way into the 2040s, where they're going to have to start substituting, switching, moving crops. Would you not put it into play now and also restart the global economy on a new debt system? When you see this friction between the SWIFT system and the BRICS payment system, although it's still in its infancy, taking away share. They're trading fruit now as settlement, not using dollars. So it's going to be about the century of food, I think it would be termed as. But first, we partnered with Dr. Gundry, MD, to share this information with you. Would you believe me if I told you inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet? Yep, it's true. And not some weird, trendy superfood. Spoiler alert, it's olive oil. You've probably used it to cook with, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. You should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health? The olive oil industry is huge, and you can bet they're all not made with the consumer in mind. Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal research and findings. You can watch the video right now by going to getolive1.com/adapt or by clicking that link in the description box below. That's getolive1.com/adapt. Or click that link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules has helped him change their lives. Make sure you go to getolive1.com/adapt or Click on that link in the description box below. And now on with the video. Because Russia agrees to accept payment in Pakistani tangerines. So they're going to trade chickpeas and lentils for tangerines and rice from Pakistan. They're going to be packaged in 15,000 ton and 10,000 ton. And the way it was explained is these shipments are not going to be exactly equal in value, but one amount of gold will be credited to the next nation. It's not going to be millions of dollars. It's in the tens of thousands, but the settlement nonetheless is in gold for the difference between those crops. It's already started. That's the thing. And here we go. The stealing of 300,000 pounds of artisanal British cheese. Thieves have a nose for fine cheese have pulled off a massive cheddar ripoff in London. Neil's Yard Dairy, made off of 22 metric tons. Okay, that's 48,000 pounds. That's almost 50,000 pounds. Where do you go with that? First question, and you're going to have to get rid of it. It's not like gold. That is a lot of cheese, tons of cheese. Yeah, it's worth 300,000 British pounds, but how do you offload that much cheese? I know times are a little rough, so this is what my Halloween candy giveaway bowl is going to look like this year. And I'm sure I won't be the only one. Speaking of inflation, Olympic gold medal 100% 1908. 2024, only 1% gold in the gold medal. See, it's everywhere. It's fiat. Those Olympic gold medals are fiat currency now, basically. It's the illusion of preciousness. Also, precious seafoods. I know you shrimp lovers out there. What's this drought means for our crops? The last time it rained apparently was September 15th in southwest Louisiana. And they already hit all-time record prices for shrimp, $11.99 a pound, and then it's up to $15.99 a pound based on that drought. So everywhere you look, it's not just, wheat or rice or any of these other staple crop prices. Now it's into the fisheries department as well. And here the wheat harvests are low this year due to wet weather. Back to England again, going to jump you back. Poorest harvest this year. Saw wheat tonnage drop to 11.1 million tons. That's 3 million tons less than 2023. And get this, 21% drop on a 5-year average. Now do that average 20% across all the grow zones right now across the world, and then you're going to see why your food is getting much more expensive, and they're considering setting up new grow zones in the Sahel, North Africa, and parts of the Middle East. But in that interim between that step and the next step, we're going to be transiting through that. And you'll see why the world is the way it is. Food runs our world. Without it, we don't even have a civilization. And I did forget, the oils also fell 30%, lowest figure in 40 years. But speaking of 40 years, why don't we go back 70 years? This is what a deli and meat shop looked like in the 1950s. I would like to visit that because I think, except the tins, I would probably buy an enormous amount of that. Imagine the quality and the purity of the food 70 years ago. Now, speaking of 70 years, will it be a lifetime owning a condo? I don't know. Gold Coast apartment owners face unexpected view tax, meaning if you're living high in the sky because you wanted to sell your property and you wanted to live in a very compact, almost city-like vertical high-rise, that should be the way to go. So then I started to dig into other articles, and sure enough, high-rise apartment owners outraged after being slugged with a view tax along the Gold Coast. The higher you live, you suddenly have a new tax on you. So here it is out of the realtors' property buzz, rate increase per week, depending on the floor location. So if you're 40 floors up, you're going to get a new type of tax, which is more than those who are living on the 5th to the 10th floor. Anything 5 floors and below, you have no change. 5th floor and up, and then you really get that hit when it moves to 21 or 20 to 21 and then up into that next category. Do you think this is a good way to get taxes? Nobody was told about this when they bought either. This is just random, and then suddenly you got hit with this tax. But see, I thought this was the future. Like we were supposed to get into these more high-rise so we don't have to drive as far to go get groceries and all these things. That's what we were told, right? And now they're starting to tax those because you have a view and you're on a higher floor. I don't know where it goes. So everything's been bait and switched at this point. And this chart sums it up well. 4 centuries of housing prices in Amsterdam. And that's it. How does it go from 1620, stable, 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 almost to 2020 over almost 400 years, and then vertical? I mean, this type of cycle that we're looking at here, economic, is definitely at least a once in a 400-year cycle. So even if that is the reason that you would get prepared for such things, is a good reason. And solar panels are going to be our future here. A lot of electricity going to be generated. You just need to put those on the hillsides, make sure there's no shade on them. It's on the old farmers' fields. A lot of that's farm field right there. So you don't have to cut the forest, but you can put it right over the farmlands. Well, the problem is when the hailstorms come in like they did in Texas. Check out, this is a massive, massive farm. This is from a helicopter. You can see how large this is. And it's just completely smashed. Everything has damage on it. So how do you fix these if you cannot? And then how do you recycle them? I'm not sure. And how much silver could you get out of those? That's the reason I'm asking. And how long would it take to buy new ones and install them out of the old ones? Because the humpback whale is looking at us. It wants answers too. Why is this world bending to a reality that is not really superior for the life that exists already on this planet? I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Please remember to join us on civilizationcycle.com. That's the podcast, Civilization Cycle. Again, that's civilizationcycle.com. Throw your email in there, and we will give you show notes of our live shows on Thursday night. Appreciate you watching. See you next time. Bye for now.